to this little video about our most anticipated comic book movies of 2016. We're going to start off with Gambit, Deadpool, X-Men, Apocalypse, Batman vs. Superman, Suicide Squad, Doctor Strange, Civil War, and much more to come.
And for the record, we're going to start with Gambit and then continue on with Deadpool, X-Men, Apocalypse, Batman, and so on and so forth. We're not starting with those, and then we're going to talk about nothing for the rest of the video. And we're just going to sit here doing this the entire time.
This is Roberto and Charmin, by the way, and they're going to be joining us.
They actually sponsored this video. Thank you, Charmin, for the sponsorship. Thank you for paying us in toilet paper. Because that's how bad you think these videos are. They're actually not that bad. Not this bad.
And if your tush is bothering you, always wind up drying a Charmin tissue.
Or use the European way and just get a little jet blasted right up in there. I hear it cleans it really good. I've never tried it, but you know, to each their own.
Or you can always get the seashells from Demolition Man. Either which way pleases you.
Seashells?
Yeah.
I thought the whole point of the was to get the seashells off. Or, you know, when you're in sand, you know, because it's coarse and it's rough. I don't like sand. That's why I use Charmin.
Okay, so... okay.
Best video intro ever.
So anyways, Gambit. So basically, this movie is probably not my most anticipated movie at all. Because two or three things go here. Number one, Channing Tatum's in it. What's he going to do? Is he going to strip off some of his clothes to act like he's part of Magic Mike? What's going to go on here? Another thing, too, is there's been a lot of drama on the set, plus the overpaid of the fact that this movie isn't a big budget whenever they should have started off with maybe a $6 million budget or a $14 million budget like they did with Ant-Man, just to start off. Another thing, too, is I don't see this movie even crossing this release date. I think it's going to get pushed back a little bit more because of the whole fact that they're just now starting to shoot the movie. And this movie's also is going to be in New Orleans, so I don't even see why they needed this big budget to begin with.
So, Islands.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So, that being said, I'm going to turn this back over to Roberto so that way he can actually explain some of his negatives about this movie.
I'm a little bit more optimistic, and generally for me, I'm optimistic up until I see the first trailer. Then I start to kind of get, you know, ideas and we'll talk about Batman v Superman later, but I'm going to use as an example. The first two trailers of Batman v Superman I thought were great. I thought they had a good dynamic. And I thought they did what needed to be done in the trailer. And I think that's there's a lost art in Hollywood today with trailers. And I just want to mention this really quick because there really is. Trailers are supposed to tease what the film is. And I think with the rise of the digital age, and now that since everything is on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and so on, we lose some of that movie magic, which is the reason why films like Jaws, films like Jurassic Park, both are by Spielberg, films like Star Wars, the original 3 Star Wars, why those movies hold so much sway over us today, because it's not just the movie, although the movies are awesome in their own right, it's the anticipation. The not knowing going into a movie is lost today, absolutely lost. Whether that is detrimental or helpful, that's up for, you know, individual decision, but I think too much is too much. And I think, for example, Avengers had this problem with the Hulk catching Iron Man. All of Amazing Spider-Man 2's marketing was just absolutely horrendous, hence why he's now going to be in Civil War, which we'll talk about later. Yes! But I really think they're doing a disservice. Now, with that being said, let's talk about Gambit. And with Gambit, here are my thoughts on this movie. Because, again, I'm going to be optimistic. I think it's going to do fine. I don't think it's going to be like Batman v Superman, like Suicide Squad, like Civil War, in that it's going to be that successful. But it doesn't mean it's going to be a bad film. I think that at this point, with the mistakes of the past, here's looking at you, X-Men Last Stand, and X-Men Origins Wolverine. They've learned what not to do, and I'm hoping that I'm right on this, that they have learned what not to do. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm not gonna judge Channing Tatum because something was brought to my attention, which is this: he does funny roles. They put him in funny roles and they've typecast him, but he's a good serious actor. Look at Hateful Eight, for example, and yes, he's in Hateful Eight. Spoiler alert. Um, he is a good actor. He just gets cast in really crappy movies. So I think that this might be a good role for him to kind of distance himself from the what's that movie with Jonah Hill?
21 Jump Street.
21 Jump Street. Like that kind of movie, which that's been his association. So, this might be it. I think what I want is just for him to pull off the accent, the Nolans accent. And I probably do a bad job, but that's one thing that everybody talked about in X-Men Origins Wolverine about Gambit. I know everybody's talked up that movie to death, rightfully so. But I'm gonna give him a chance. I'm really gonna give him a chance because I see potential, and as far as the production goes, a lot of people don't know this, but production is a small part of the movie. Who knows if they're already working on some of the posts for this movie? They've been working on the script for years because this thing has been in what movie people call development hell for forever. So who knows? Maybe this will be one of those movies that just sucker punches us and is like, hey, I'm a good movie, and really takes us by surprise. I'm hoping that, but we'll see.
Well, another thing too was he was also in that movie with Steve Carell where he was supposed to be like a wrestler, and that was more of a serious role.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was more of an independent movie, and it was actually a Academy Award at that time.
Nice. Never heard of it. I gotta look it up.
I forgot the name of that movie, but from what I saw, it was actually pretty good. You never saw Steve Carell the way you saw Steve Carell. He was dark, scary, gruesome, and
I'm looking for my phone because I want to Google this really quick while you're talking.
I thought you lost your toilet paper. Okay.
No, it's here.
Okay. Anyways,
yeah, yuck it up.
Let's see. I think another thing that I liked about that movie was the fact that it showed that Channing Tatum was much more than a stripper taking off his clothes for money. It showed that he was able to act in a movie and being able to carry himself in a movie, and that's also probably why they gave him Gambit. That's just my pure speculation, but all we saw was in that little small thing with Channing Tatum. We did see a French accent, which is a French accent that he has to do for Gambit because he's a Cajun. Cajun accents are like French accents.
The Raging Cajun.
Huh?
The Raging Cajun. That's what you call Gambit.
Right. So you have to do those mixes together pretty well. But I heard him on Ellen DeGeneres doing a French accent. That didn't do it for me. Then I saw him do another French accent in The Hateful Eight, and that didn't do it for me either. So that makes me say, if you're going to do a French accent and you can do it well, do it. But if you don't do it well, just forget about doing the accent because otherwise you're going to be forcing yourself on everybody else and everything, and that's also going to put somebody else out of the movie. That's just my perspective.
Oh, you're talking about Foxcatcher.
Yeah, Foxcatcher is what I was talking about earlier. But that's what that's just my whole thing that how I feel about that though. I feel like if you're going to end up doing a French accent, you need to do it well. If you can't do it, don't do it at all. Otherwise, it's going to be felt forced instead of us believing that he actually has that French accent down. Because I saw it twice. I saw, like I said, in Hateful Eight, and then after that, I also saw him in Ellen DeGeneres, and he didn't even do anything for me as for Gambit. But hopefully, if I see a trailer, hopefully I'm going to be pleased with it.
50-50,
Right.
With Gambit. And like I said, I mean, it could be utterly disappointing, and it could be the next X-Men Origins Wolverine, or it could be the next Days of Future Past. Who knows? We'll see. But we're just giving the information we've been given at this point.
Right. Another thing we have on the agenda is Deadpool, the Merc with the Mouth. the man who does not know when to shut up or keep his mouth shut at all. And he
One of
also
my
has
favorite comic book heroes, anti-heroes of all time, and hence why I do crazy things like this. Carry toilet paper around because I love Deadpool, and Deadpool does stuff like that.
right.
I'm
And
sorry, go ahead. I interrupted, didn't I?
and they also managed to duct tape his mouth shut in the Wolverine movie, which is something that I wish I had one of those little Men in Black things, so that way I couldn't remember that I saw that movie. But I felt like that this movie, whenever I saw this movie trailer, the advertisements have been outstanding. The studios know what they're doing. Whoever got their marketing together, they should have done that for Fantastic Four because they've done a very, very good job about marketing this thing. Because it's actually showing whatever doubt that the people had before are now gone. I love the little Valentine's Day trailer that they did for it. It reminds me of a Nicholas Sparks movie. So hey, if you've got a girl who likes Nicholas Sparks, you know what to do. Just say, "Oh, this is the new Nicholas Sparks movie," and everything. And I really want to see this because it's got Wade Wilson in it. He's trying to chase after his girlfriend because she got kidnapped, and he's trying to find these detectives to try and find out how to get her back, and that'll put seats in the house. So that's if you want to get your girlfriend to go see it with you, that's what I recommend.
And guys, if you have a girl that's into Twilight still, even after all of those bad movies, you can say this. He's kind of like Edward because he's got superpowers, and you can go and watch Wade Wilson. He's kind of got these like superpower things. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. And if you have a girlfriend that likes Twilight, I don't know. It's up to you, but
But
I don't condone that kind of blasphemy. Anyway, about Deadpool, like I said, and we were talking about this earlier. The marketing for this movie has been absolutely outstanding, and I think that it goes to show you what happens when 20th Century Fox does nothing.
that's
Because this is the movie that they didn't want to make. They wanted to make Fantastic Four. Look at what happened with Fantastic Four, the movie they did want to make, and look at what happened with Deadpool, the movie they didn't want to make. So it's pretty obvious at this point what 20th Century Fox is capable of and what 20th Century Fox should just not do. And I'm so glad that they don't care enough about this movie to just let everybody do what they want to do with it, because the fans that love the property get to do what they want to do. And if Fantastic Four got the fan service that it should have gotten, the movie would not have turned out like some kind of like reject. I'm trying to find like a good movie to compare it to. There's just nothing that bad. It's like if
like Batman and Robin bad.
like okay, yeah, like Batman and Robin. If Batman and Robin and Batman Returns had like I don't know, I don't even know how to describe Fantastic Four by comparing it to another movie.
They had
Because
an
it's just as bad as Batman and Robin.
right.
Well, no, it's even worse than Batman and Robin because Batman and Robin I've actually sat through, and because what I do with movies that are so bad, I just treat them like comedies. So, and then it makes it more enjoyable for me because I'm just sitting there laughing the whole time. I couldn't even do that with Fantastic Four. I actually saw it on YouTube, and because there was a week that somebody posted it on YouTube trying to be funny, and I watched it. Well, I watched the first 15 minutes of it, and my body gave out and went to sleep. I kid you not. I woke up at the end. I woke up during the credits at the end. The beginning of the movie was great, but then it just flat. Oh, but like I said, it looks like they're making up for their mistakes with Deadpool, and I think the reason why that is because the fans are making the movie, and it shows because this is Deadpool. Now, I may not like all the nudity and stuff that's going to be in Deadpool, but when you look at the comics, that's pretty much how it was.
Right. Another thing too is they just have a new clip that came out this morning.
I didn't see it. I want to see it now.
I saw this new clip, and basically it shows Ryan Reynolds' butt. I'm like, and I started thinking to myself,
Oh, his actual hiney?
Yeah. So I'm like, if that's all there is for partial nudity, then that's okay then.
That would be fantastic. That would be awesome if, like, if Deadpool breaks the fourth wall and he goes, "Oh, they gave us a rated R clip for nudity, so here you go," and he just pants himself.
Right.
I
It
could
could
see that going down, and I would be totally okay with that.
right.
Hilarious.
But if that's as far as nudity goes and everything, and that's all everybody that's always up in arms about, then I think it's safe to say that it's not as bad as what people may think it may be. But then again, we
Right.
haven't.
Now, I mean, and about that whole debate about the PG-13 cut. Yeah, I mean, okay. If 5-year-olds want to go watch Deadpool, they shouldn't watch a rated R version.
Well, that's
But then again, why are you letting your 5-year-old go and watch Deadpool when you know what is in the movie? I mean, because I've seen bad parenting done in movie theaters where they bring in like a little kid to watch like a horror movie. And I'm just sitting there going, why would you do this to us?
well,
Why do you do this? I mean, I don't care that you don't have a babysitter. Don't bring the baby in here. He's gonna turn from behind from this position. He's gonna turn his head, and whatever he's gonna see is gonna scar him for life. And then he's gonna return and kill y'all, and it's gonna be a real life horror movie.
well,
But I
another
don't get that. I
bad
just don't understand that.
that happened. That
What?
Amy Trainwreck. This woman brought her daughter to see Trainwreck.
And it was a train wreck.
Um, Amy Schumer, and then and then that guy, I forgot what his name is, but it was a rated R movie. There's penis jokes. There's a bunch of other stuff that goes on in that movie and stuff like that. I'm like, this is bad.
Yeah.
But like 5-10 minutes later, she winded up bringing her out of the movie, and then they went home. So, but
But anyway, I mean, I think I love the concept. I love how they've been marketing this movie. I love just everything surrounding this movie has been perfect. When you know who the character is in the comics, it's perfect. And I can't wait for this. I'm actually more excited for this than the next movie we're going to talk about, which, John, you can take it away.
which is going to be X-Men Apocalypse,
Mm-hmm.
and I had my doubts before because of the fact that Apocalypse looked like Ivan Ooze from the Power Rangers. If you haven't seen the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and everything, check it out. It's in the 90s. It's one of those guilty pleasure movies if you are into that kind of movies and stuff like that. But he looked like Ivan Ooze or a Pepto Bismol bottle. And it just looked horrible. If this is what Fox is giving us,
Pepto Bismol.
and basically and everything, I feel like after I saw this trailer for X-Men Apocalypse, I feel like Bryan Singer, I don't doubt you anymore because of the effects that they managed to put into it. Because the effects that we saw in the other trailer weren't all the way done yet. That's the same thing too. When you put a teaser trailer together, all the effects are not in there yet. That's what Comic-Con does. They give you little pieces
Yeah.
of little nugget, and they give you that little nugget, and it's not fully done yet, but it gives you enough to give you that hype. Now, whenever I saw this trailer, I'm like, this is awesome. Bryan Singer's done it again, just like he did with Days of Future Past. Yes, there's going to be some things that are different from the comics because you have to create a universe that's going to fit in with the universe that you're trying to create for those movies and those characters. So therefore, I'm okay with the way Apocalypse looks. I'm okay with the way things are going with it. I have no doubts about it, but it's still in my anticipated movies. But am I saying I cannot wait to see this movie? I think I'll get more excited once the release date comes up. But right now, I'm kind of medium on this. But that's just me, though. I think I need to get more pumped up as the release date comes. Anyways,
The good thing that this movie has going for it, I feel, and it's kind of funny how the I'm gonna call it the Young X-Men trilogy is shaping up just like the old X-Men trilogy is. Now, that's not me condemning X-Men Apocalypse and saying it's gonna be like Last Stand, but if you look at the first X-Men trilogy up to this point, up to this its second movie, and then you look at the new one now. They mirror each other almost exactly. The first one was a good movie, like X-Men 1 was for its time, because X-Men 1, okay, yeah, it's corny, but when you realize that that was the very first good superhero movie ever made because it preceded Spider-Man, it's not that bad. So in that, First Class and X-Men have a lot in common. Now you get to the second one, X-Men or X2 X-Men United and Days of Future Past, which are the corresponding in each trilogy. Those are like the ones that everybody's like, oh,
X-Men: The Last Stand.
huh?
X-Men: The Last Stand. You're talking about?
Well, no. Which brings me to the third one. Now, they have a chance here to correct the mistakes of the past and not do a last stand and do something that's genuinely good. I feel that because they're just focusing on one storyline, because the thing with Last Stand was that they wanted to jam the whole mutant cure with the Jean Grey storyline and Dark Phoenix all together in one movie. You can't do that. You need like 2 movies at least to flesh out the Phoenix saga. So I think that because they're going the route of single villain, single vision, even though yes, it's a big villain, and you're gonna bring all these X-Men together, I think the focus lets it be a good premise, which could lead to a good movie. Now, like I said, my comparing it to X-Men: The Last Stand is just for comparison's sake, because this is where it could differ from the original trilogy and actually go a step beyond what its second installment did and actually be better than its second installment, rather than do X-Men Last Stand and be 5,000 steps down from what X2 X-Men United was. I love Oscar Isaac. I've been following Oscar Isaac since Nativity Story. He actually was in Nativity Story. He was Joseph. And I thought he did awesome in Star Wars as Poe Dameron. I have Inside Llewellyn Davis that I've yet to watch. I got it from the library, but I got it recommended to me, and then I was like, "Oh, it's Oscar Isaac. I better watch this." So I think he's going to do a good job. Just from what I've seen in the trailer, he's going to be very stoic. He's going to be very, like regal. And I was like, okay, this is the first mutant. He was regarded as a god in Egyptian civilizations and in past civilizations because he was so powerful. So, you need that kind of presence and that kind of power. And I think Oscar Isaac can bring it. As far as everybody else goes, they're good. I mean, all the X-Men cast is good, with the exception of Barakapool in X-Men Origins Wolverine, which has been wiped from existence. Thank you. Everything else has been done well. All the casting has been done well, and I hear that they're going to give Magneto an edge in Apocalypse, because now we're entering new story territory. This is not leading to old Magneto anymore, because the whole thing's been rewritten or whatever. So at this point, who knows what they're going to do with Magneto. And I think the choice that they made in Days of Future Past to kind of tweak it and say, okay, this is no longer what you're used to, gives it a good place to go. Now, from what we know about Magneto, he doesn't take orders. So I'm kind of interested to see how Apocalypse is able to bring him in and be like, you are now subservient to me. But I mean, when you have somebody that's that powerful and Magneto, all he wants is power, it's kind of a good way to correlate the two. The only thing that I've heard about this movie that I did not like was that there's going to be 3 love stories. Now, they could service the movie very well, or they could damage the movie. Maura McTaggart and Magneto, or Maura McTaggart and Professor X, we're gonna have relationship drama. Magneto and Raven, and Beast. Oh, what's the other one?
Wolverine
and Wolverine and Jean Grey. Yeah, they were all gonna have like their own relationship drama, which it's not a make or break. If they do it right, I think it could be done well. And I think where the characters are at this point, it makes sense to address them. I just hope that it doesn't turn into like a Nicholas Sparks movie instead of an X film.
Whatever garbage that we got from Spider-Man 3.
What?
or that garbage that we got from Spider-Man 3 with Mary
Oh,
Jane.
that's what we need is Hugh Jackman getting up on a stage and tap dancing in the middle of
So,
it's Apocalypse.
if they does that, I'm walking out of the theater.
That would be ridiculous, but
But
that's not gonna happen.
I'm talking about this. If they execute it right, because you need to have some type of separation, some type of tension between those relationships to make people go their own separate ways. Because I think Mystique, she works alone pretty much. So therefore, you need to have that conflictation with Magneto. So therefore, you need to have that little separation between
Well,
them.
who knows now? Because again, all the storyline has been shifted, so you don't know where. And now with Raven doing what she did in Days of Future Past, where she kind of just stood up for the mutants, and the people actually listened. There's no longer a human mutant threat anymore. So
another thing too
it changes the dynamic.
You can also see there's tension between her and Magneto.
Right.
So therefore, they're going to put that. They're going to incorporate that too into the movie.
True. I mean, like I said, it could help the movie. Excuse me, and give it a very good emotional core, or it could detract from what you're trying to do, because what you're trying to do here is give us a convincing Apocalypse and give us a convincing story around your main villain, which they did beautifully with Bolivar Trask in Days of Future Past. I thought Bolivar Trask was expertly handled because it wasn't just, I am here to be the villain and to kill all the mutants. And that's not who Bolivar Trask is. It's a legitimate fear of the unknown, and it's perfect. I thought they handled that character well. So hopefully they handle Apocalypse with the same finesse as they did Bolivar Trask, and even Magneto in the old trilogy, because even the bad movies in it, and I'm talking about X-Men Last Stand, Magneto was always good, and the villain has always been good in these movies. So hopefully they continue that trend.
Right. Is there anything else that you want to add to that, or is that going to be pretty much it for?
No, you can go to the next one.
Okay, Batman versus Superman is up next, and this is my most anticipated movie since I saw the teaser trailer for.
Good movie marketing versus bad movie marketing.
Well, for me, the Comic-Con trailer sold me.
Yeah.
I mean, because you could see the trembling of Ben Affleck about how mad he is, and him hugging that girl and everything is saying, "I'm going to protect you." And then you also see another look at him looking out afar from seeing his building being destroyed by Zod and Superman. You're like, "I'm coming after you. I don't care how much powers you have. You're going down." And then we see this other 2 or 3 minute trailer that we got from Jimmy Kimmel, and I was excited as soon as I saw the first half of the trailer. I'm like, yes, this is how you do a marketing for this movie. And this also goes into the whole thing about people who doubted Ben Affleck because it goes deeper into his roots about what he wants to do, how he's going to come out of retirement, and so forth. But the whole entire deal is they show too much. In my honest opinion, they show too much.
The third trailer showed too much.
Right. In the third trailer, they showed too much.
That was just awful.
Right. I like the fact that they ended up showing that they have a little bit of a joke to them, but to me, I don't think they needed to show Wonder Woman in that trailer. We all know that they're going to come together. We all know Wonder Woman's going to be in there. You didn't have
that wasn't the detraction for me with the third trailer. That wasn't the detraction because you know what's going to happen. So I thought, okay, they're going to go for the money shot of the big 3. So, okay, cool. And they're going to add a joke in there, which I'm so glad because this movie seems to be dark as a poop. But I'm glad that they had the joke in there.
Right. Another thing too is DC even said that they're going with a whole serious route, and to see them drop a little bit of humor into it, it was actually pretty cool to just see that little humor into it where Batman goes, no, where Batman goes,
tell me,
she was with
you wipe,
you will. But I thought it was perfectly well executed. It's just that I felt like they showed too much. They didn't have to show us Doomsday. They didn't have to show any of that. Just show what the main thing was. These 2 people beating each other up and destroying a half a city block, probably even more, because they're trying to kill each other pretty much. And
What
then
I'm
they,
hoping is done with Batman, and I'm just going to talk about Batman because I'm a Batman fan. I like Batman more than I like Superman. And I hope that Superman gets whooped. I know he probably won't, but I hope he gets whooped in some way.
if he
Here's
gets worse, to me, it shows that he's not indestructible like everybody else thinks he is because he's Batman.
right.
I hope to show some human to him. That's why I like Daredevil so much. And this
At the end of the day, the thing with Superman that everybody has to realize is he now knows the full extent of his power, and he in the DCEU is being chastised for his overuse of his power,
right,
which means he is not going to use all of his power when taking down Batman. Batman, however, especially if you watch all the trailers, he is a mean guy who thinks this is my enemy. I'm going to take him out, and I'm going to do everything in my disposal to take him out. And I think that is where the battle is. Because, yes, of course, in any situation, Superman would wipe Batman out of the map. But here's the thing, character matters just as much as strength. And that is where the conflict of this movie is and where the strength of this movie is. Now, I want to talk about Batman, and I have a lot of opinions about this movie because, again, and you mentioned a lot of it with the trailers. But I was watching the Batman versus Superman Hilariosity review with Flick Picks and Chris Stuckman. Ugh, get Stuckmanized over there. Love you, Chris. But one thing that they brought up, which is what Batman and one of the things Batman and Robin got wrong, is whoever is playing Batman, whether it be Clooney, whether it be Bale, whether it be Adam West, they're actually playing three different characters at once. And here's what I mean: they're playing Batman, they're playing Playboy Bruce Wayne, and they're playing Bruce Wayne as he really is, who he is with Alfred, who he is in the Batcave. So you're really, in essence, when you're Batman, you're putting on three different faces. And that's something that Bale got right because when he's very somber when he's with Alfred, when he's contemplating about fighting Bane in the third one, but at the same time he has this party persona that you see in Batman Begins. You see it in Dark Knight where he's like, oh, all this opulence and all this over exaggeration of everything because he's a rich, and he's a playboy.
yeah, that diva persona.
Right, and then you have the Batman persona, who is his actual persona, which is kind of a mix between the serious self and then Batman, because Batman is him, it's who he aspires to be at all times, as how I put it. So if Batfleck realizes, and if Zack Snyder realizes this, which, I mean, we've only gotten tastes of Batman, of Superman, of Wonder Woman, of Lex Luthor, which is why I am not going to say what I think about Lex Luthor at this point, because he could be playing everybody. Just like Batman's playing everybody, just like Superman's playing everybody. But as far as Batman's concerned, if they realize that key element in his character, that he is a man wearing different masks, I think it could be highly successful.
Right. And you see, that's what I got a sense of Lex too, because when you first see this rich guy throwing this party, and you see him between the two, and he's like the puppet, pretty much pulling the strings on these two, and and they're both trash talking each other pretty much at the party, and he stands between the two of them. That tells me that he's the puppet master, right?
Yeah.
And then whenever he goes in there and you see Zod in his lab, he's like a mad scientist in his lab playing, and he's very dark, and nobody sees who he really is.
What somebody said this, I can't remember who it was. I saw it on a video on YouTube after the bad third trailer came out, and you saw the party scene with Bruce Wayne, with Clark Kent, and with Lex Luthor. All of these men in this conversation are hiding something.
Right. I agree.
Clark Kent is hiding Superman. Bruce Wayne is hiding Batman, and Lex Luthor is hiding his true self. They're all wearing masks, and they're not genuine at this point. So that's why I'm like, okay, he is being his own fruity version of Bruce Wayne.
Right.
You know, he's over the top, he's opulent because he knows he's got money to throw around, and you know he's acting like he doesn't have it all together. He's just like, oh, hi guys, how are you doing? But that's not who he is, and I don't think that that's who he's going to be in the movie.
No.
I think the him that is going to actually be in the movie is
Well,
that one scene that we get of him of Lex with Lois Lane when he says, "This is the two-syllable word, too big for little minds." That is the character
right.
of Lex.
Another thing too is we're gonna get what Batman is. He's a retired Batman, so therefore you see him as someone who's been fighting crime for a long time. So he's gonna be kind of dragged out a little bit. He's gonna be kind of, you know what I'm saying? He's
And
gonna
ruthless.
right. He's not gonna take no crap from anybody, including Lex.
Yeah.
And he's gonna do a lot of back. I know for a fact he's probably gonna do a lot of background checks on Lex because you know.
I really hope that they continue the trend of the detective. His title as Batman is the world's greatest detective. Do some detective work for a chance. Bale did it with the bullet thing in Dark Knight, and with but then again, he had Alfred get all the information on Bane for him. Why?
Right.
Clooney don't even bother with. Val Kilmer actually had a sense of, yes, he's trying to figure out who the Riddler is. He's trying to figure out, and he got it really quick, which I was like, world's greatest detective.
Right. He got Bruce down pat, but as far as Batman goes, he didn't really capture the essence.
Yeah. But that's one thing that I think he got of Batman's was the detective persona, because I mean he figured the riddles out like that. I was like, it's just child's play. But I'm like, but that's how he would be with these puny little riddles. Because it's like, the world's greatest detective. There you go, there's your answer. A clock. There. So I mean, there's a lot of room, and I trust Ben Affleck at this point with Batman. So I think he's going to impress us. Now, whether the whole building a universe thing is going to weigh on this movie and kill this movie is going to be the deciding factor. Because I think they've got the Batman v Superman part down. Now, I've heard they wanted to do all the Justice League at the end of this movie, like have them all there. And I'm like,
well,
do you not believe in teases? Just don't show it. Just tease it. And then make us wait for Justice League.
Here's the deal. I'm okay with they show it, but only show it as cameos, like small cameos.
Right. And now we heard. Did you hear that the other sites reported, the Screen Rant reported the thing I posted on Movie Lovers about Darkseid?
Oh yeah. Now I already know what that is about. I know what that's about.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Basically, there's this action figure called the Dark Knight Dream or something like that. It's an action figure, and basically, it's a dream sequence.
Right? Yeah, because you see the bugs and all. Yeah.
Right, and even in the poster, you see him in that trench coat.
Right.
So therefore, that tells me that's just a dream sequence, and I think they could use that later on if they want to bring him in there. But I think our main villain right now is just Doomsday itself.
Okay. And like I said, I don't mind if they do something like Thanos where they just hint at Darkseid. But don't try and cram him into this movie. Don't. You already did enough with Doomsday being in this movie.
I agree.
So
we don't need more villains to the mix.
You don't, because here's the thing. Superman is the only character in this world besides Lois Lane and Lawrence Fishburne's character that are defined characters at this point.
Yeah,
you are introducing a new Batman coming off of Bale, who actually did a good job, minus the scratchy voice. Which, I mean, even the scratchy voice was good at times.
You're like, where is he? How did
Where?
he?
Where's my cough drops?
Where is he? I need a cough drop.
And a toilet paper.
Why are you toilet paper? Okay.
But you're introducing a new Batman. You're introducing Wonder Woman. You're introducing Lex Luthor. Just hold up and give us Batman versus Superman. Not a lot of Dawn of Justice. I know you're gonna do it, but do it intelligently. Don't give us another hour-long Zod on Superman extravaganza where you don't know what's going on. It's just two CGI beings going up buildings, down buildings, punching each other, and then to end it on a...
Well, to me, I liked it for what it was. I saw it in the theater twice, so
I got bored of it. Like, after they killed the World Engine, you know, the ship, and they brought it down, and then the other people got sucked into the Phantom Zone again, I was like, cool, awesome, let's end this movie. And then it went on for 30 more minutes.
Well, let's think of it like this, okay? In the cartoons and even in the comic books, you have at least 2 or 3 different fights before the actual big fight. He destroys the main thing that's going to be bringing death upon the world. And then after that, he goes after the bad guy. And then, yes, there's going to be a long fight with the bad guy and everything else.
I think what they should have done, and I like having the fight scenes. Don't get me wrong. I think it's like 5,000 steps up from Superman Returns. But pacing is what that movie lacked, because you do not do back-to-back action sequences like they did in Man of Steel. You do not go from, oh, we just took down the World Engine, to, oh, by the way, Zod's alive, we got to go kill him. You don't do that. You have scenes in the middle to give you time to breathe. So then you're expecting more action later. You're like, okay, let's see what happens next. But they didn't do that. They're like, ship is down, guys are gone, Zod's still here, fight. Well, no, it's just, I mean, it's bad from pacing standpoint. I know people that like Superman, and I didn't mind the movie. I thought the movie was great. I thought the movie was done right. Just the pacing of the movie was off. They should have had something dramatic or something lighthearted in between that 2 moments before you get into that final fight, because the final fight was good, but it was just too much. And by the end of it, I think I even had a headache. I was like, it's not good. It's just not well done, not well put together. Whether that's on the editors, whether that's on Zack Snyder, whoever it was, I hope that they take the criticisms that everybody has said at this point and improved upon it. But
well, what this too is, it has the consequences of what happened in Man of Steel. So therefore,
right.
We are listening to what the fans are complaining about. So therefore, they went on ahead and did it that way. So I felt like that was executed perfectly for the trailer. But this movie could also wind up being bad, just because it's a 2-minute trailer. A lot can happen in a 2-minute trailer
right.
that they're not giving us in a full-blown movie. So anything can go wrong. But still, my anticipation is high, just like yours is.
Yeah.
The next thing I want to bring up is the Suicide Squad movie. And of course, we touched on it for about 18 to 20 minutes anyways.
You should put a link to that.
Yeah, I'm going to post that.
That way, you know, they can get, because we talked about Suicide Squad when the new trailer came out, and we talked in detail. So we're not going to spend much time on this video, but check it out below. That video, and there's a video breakdown of the time, so you can just check what you want to check and see and check out on that video. But I mean, it's all good. So if you want to check out the whole thing, we'll love you for it. But I mean, go ahead. Let's talk about Suicide Squad just a little bit, just for this video.
I'm excited for it, and it's not even in August, and I'm not even in August yet, and I'm excited for this movie. And I know that I said that I wasn't excited for X-Men because of how far away it is too, because it's in July. But the whole point is, I've been waiting to see Harley Quinn on the big screen, sharing the screen with the Joker for a long, long time. And the whole thing is, we're living in a crazy world where this is actually going to happen, where we never thought this was going to happen. instead of us being so critical towards different nitpicky things that we see in a trailer, we should just be happy at the fact that we're even getting this. Because we never thought in a million years that this would happen. And we never thought in a million years we would have Batman versus Superman, or X Men Apocalypse, or Deadpool. We should just be embracing the whole fact that we're getting these
I'll be
things.
right back, so keep talking.
I know one thing, I'm excited about it. I feel like that these movies are going to do great at the box office, and I feel like too that, you know, I feel like I'm going to be a lot. I'm ecstatic for these movies, and this is the year of comic book movies where comic book fans can actually embrace the whole entire thing that we're doing, everything that we've been wanting for a long time. And if it wasn't for that leaked trailer for Deadpool, we wouldn't be getting what we got before. In our Deadpool, we have a shared universe, maybe with the X Men, maybe the X Force. Who knows? This thing is going to be crazy. So just enjoy it. Just quit trying to judge something before you even see the movie for itself, and enjoy what Zack Snyder's done. Enjoy what Ben Affleck is doing, and let's keep our
I
let's
thought we were talking about Suicide Squad.
huh? Yeah,
I thought we were
well,
talking-
I'm embracing the whole entire deal.
Oh, okay. I was like, Zack Snyder did not direct Suicide Squad. What?
I'm going into this whole entire thing with them.
Oh, okay. I
I'm
walked
just
in at the wrong time.
the fact that we're getting these movies at this time because we never thought we would get these movies. And just leave our criticisms at the door when we go and see these movies because we're going to probably wind up walking out of it going to the bathroom afterwards after watching through 2.5 hours. And you can also embrace it by having Charmin. Anyways, that being said, what do you have to add to that, Roberto?
I mean, like I said, I think I put my thoughts pretty well in the 18 minutes that we spent talking about the trailer. Because this trailer, unlike um, the Comic-Con trailer, was a lot more fleshed out, and it was a lot more fun. I thought the first Suicide Squad trailer was more like a Man of Steel trailer, which, I mean, I know that's the aesthetic you're going for the DCU, but it's okay to have fun, and we're not going to call you Marvel. And I think that's what the second trailer did with Suicide Squad. Um, just from the very beginning, you get Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. It's like, are we gonna have fun in a DC movie? And the whole trailer was just ramping up and ramping up and ramping up and ramp. And then you saw Joker, and I was like, oh, cool. And then they gave him a good line in the trailer. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's got a ton of good lines. He's the Joker. But everybody, I was excited for everybody. For Katana, I was excited, and I don't know who any of these people are except for anybody related to Batman. So I know Deadshot, I know Joker, I know Harley, I know Killer Croc, and that's only because of the Arkham games. Because I play the Arkham games.
I don't know the character's name Slipknot. I don't know anything about him.
I don't know Slipknot. I don't know Rip Flag. I don't know Katana. I don't know Enchantress.
And Rip Flag was actually going to be Tom Hardy, but Tom Hardy dropped out of it.
I bet that he's regretting that now.
He is. He actually commented on it about how he wished that he could have done it, but scheduling conflicts is the reason why.
Yeah, with the Revenant, because they were. Yeah, I know. But
right.
I mean, I think he would have been good, but I honestly think that Jai Courtney is doing a good job, and I think this might be his role. So, I mean, maybe it was for the best.
I'm hoping this turns his acting career around because I'm not a big Jai Courtney fan.
He was the best part of the trailer. I mean, yes, I like Harley Quinn. I don't like the Joker, but and I don't even like the Joker that much, but he's kind of getting, he's warming up to me a little bit. But Rick Flag was the one where I was like, this dude is funny. Like, I mean, he was drinking a soda mid-battle, like, just came out of a body bag, straight up punching a guy because it was a body bag. Like, straight up just punching people and, like, trying to take people out. And they're like, you're surrounded by soldiers. What in the world are you going to do?
Well, another thing I want to bring up.
And that's not Rick Flag. That's Captain Boomerang.
Right.
Rick Flag is RoboCop.
Right. But another thing that I want to bring up, too, is now the Doctor Strange movie.
Yes, yes.
Now,
Benedict Cumberbatch. And the second Sherlock to join the MCU.
Right. And I'm excited about this. The look that they have for him, everything about him, he looks like Doctor Strange. He looks the part. Is he going to play the part right. That's a question for another day because
It's
we have.
Benedict Cumberbatch. I mean, Benedict
But,
Cumberbatch was one of the people I said was going to play Doctor Strange because he
right.
looks like Doctor Strange and he could be Doctor Strange. I was like,
I'm excited for this movie. I'm very excited for this movie. Why? Because you have several story arcs that you can go from and
yeah,
everything. They can do an origin story and also mix it in with some other villain or whatever if they need to do it that way. They have so much things that they can grow from this movie to make an impact on this whole entire thing. I'm more excited for this than Civil War. And
let's
that's
talk about the cast for a second.
and then they also got
This
Benedict
movie
Wong.
is stacked, like absolutely stacked with good actors. You have Benedict Cumberbatch in the lead, Tilda Swinton, the White Witch from the Chronicles of Narnia, playing the Ancient One. You have Mads Mikkelsen from Casino Royale and from the Hannibal series on TV, playing who knows what. I'm pretty sure he's playing Dormammu, which would be awesome. And then Chiwetel Ejiofor is playing Baron Mordo, and then Rachel McAdams is playing like a doctor friend of Doctor Strange. Is kind of like the human element of this all this crazy zany stuff going on. So the cast alone, it's like Marvel is just does not stop, and it just keeps getting better and better and better and better and better, and and every movie that comes out, I mean, everybody thought Guardians was gonna be like the nobody knows what it's gonna do, and then Chris Pratt came out and just wowed us all, and Zoe Saldana and Dave Bautista, and of course Rocket Raccoon Groot, because they are Rocket Raccoon and Groot, even though they're voiced by Vin Diesel and Bradley Cooper. And everybody talks about Ronan. I thought Ronan was awesome.
I thought he did good. He served
I
the
thought he was
purpose.
great with what he was given, and the actor. The choices of actors is just spot on. Getting Lee Pace, who played Thranduil in The Hobbit, to play Ronan is just genius because he has that presence of a it's just so good. Which ironically, this is a reunion of Hobbit for Thranduil and Smaug, so because Benedict Cumberbatch was Smaug, um, but it's I mean Marvel. Even though yes, they have their missteps, they just make up for their missteps in so many good ways.
Well, another thing too is that's the best thing about directors. They always get the best out of their actors, and I
Yeah.
feel like that they got the best out of those actors that we had. Otherwise, we wouldn't have to get the solid performances that we had in Guardians of the Galaxy, Ant-Man, Thor.
And even Ant-Man, which was a rocky production, ended up giving us a really good movie and a really funny movie.
And they even made fun of itself on top of that.
Yeah.
So when you have a movie that makes fun of its own self, it's good.
And I love this that they got a horror director for Doctor Strange, because this is zany stuff that they're going to deal with. And bringing in somebody with that sensibility of, bringing weird images to the screen, I think is really going to do justice to Doctor Strange and to all of whatever he's going to bring to the MCU, is the whole magic side of the MCU. The same with like and that's another thing, not just the actors, the directors that Marvel hires, even though they may not always end in the best of places, because I mean, it's a business. I mean, what are you going to do? But the directing talent at Marvel, whether it be Favreau, whether it be Kenneth Branagh, whether it be Joss Whedon, they're all excellent. Adam McKay, who now is going to fully direct Ant-Man 2. I think it's Adam McKay. Is it? No, it's not Adam McKay. Who's the guy? Peyton Reed. Adam McKay. Is just awesome. And I think they just keep stepping it up and stepping it up and stepping it up. But anyway, talk more about Doctor Strange, because I know you're excited about this a little bit more than I am, and I'm already excited.
Well, I've been reading the comics and everything, and the comics and everything are very good. And I feel like Benedict Cumberbatch actually has a good personality for him, besides being in Sherlock. In the comic books, in one of the comic books, one of the people call him Sherlock, calls him Sherlock Holmes. and I thought that was a perfect reference for,
Oh,
for
hmm.
Benedict Cumberbatch. So
I
that was
wonder if they're gonna play it up in the movie.
I'm hoping they do because in that comic it was called Doctor Strange the Oak, and in that comic they actually brought that up. So I'm
That's
hoping
pretty
they also
sick.
done with his origin a little bit too.
They
Oh,
had premonitions, just like Ryan Reynolds playing Deadpool was actually in a comic.
right. So I thought that was just perfect, and that's why I'm even more excited because of the fact that they got somebody that's a Sherlock Holmes actor playing the role of Doctor Strange. And this whole entire thing, we never thought that we would actually see magical elements in the Marvel universe, and now we are actually seeing that being put together and seeing how well that's going to play out.
I will say this: I don't think if Thor hadn't been as successful as it was, I don't think we would have ever dreamed of getting Doctor Strange because he was kind of like the first branch into something nutty that wasn't Earth based. So I think now we're like, I'm so glad Thor worked out, and Thor was a great movie. Um, I was gonna say this.
Well, another thing too is I didn't care for Thor Part One too much.
I love that movie.
I didn't like it as much as other people. I liked certain elements of the movie. I thought it was good, but I didn't love it. But I loved the second one.
What didn't you like about it? I'm just curious.
I don't know. It was just I felt like something was missing from the movie. I just I just felt like something was just
I
missing.
didn't like the scenes on Earth.
That's
They
probably
were they were good. They were better than Thor: The Dark World scenes on Earth.
that might be it then.
But when you go in between these two worlds, Asgard and Earth, everything on Asgard is so awesome, so grand, and you have Anthony Hopkins playing Odin, and Loki was done beautifully by Tom Hiddleston, and just the whole world is so grand. And then you come to Earth, and it's just a fish out of water story that really did not do anything new with it, other than actually having the character accept, how things go on Earth.
Now this is what I like about Thor. He's a person who's trying to figure out how he's going to fit in with this world and how he's going to adapt to it. And that's what I liked about that aspect. Because he's a stranger in this world. So therefore
Right.
he doesn't know how to act. He doesn't know how to ask for another drink. All he knows how to do is go, another.
Right. We should, before we go into Civil War, I think we should talk about Ragnarok at this point, since we're already talking about Thor.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
All right. Okay, so the reason why Ragnarok is in this, even though it's not going to be out until 2017, which is going to be the year of Marvel, because we're going to get Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Spider-Man in its MCU movie debut. I'm so excited. And Thor: The Dark World, or Thor: The Dark World. What the frick? No, Thor: The Dark World. Thor: Ragnarok. All in 2017, but they released online a possible plot synopsis for Thor Ragnarok, and I thought it was just beautiful. Because one thing that fans had always talked about was Hulk, and we know that Hulk's not going to be in the movie because it's kind of been officially addressed and revealed. But since Hulk was going to be in the movie, they thought, okay, it'd be a good chance to do something like Planet Hulk, which I thought, it's the next logical step for Hulk is to do Planet Hulk, and then probably World War Hulk after that. But if what is being said in the plot synopsis that dropped, this is basically what's going to go down. Possible spoiler alert, you've been warned. Now, Hela, who is the person that Kate Blanchett is rumored to play, and Loki are basically in cahoots together throughout all this. They're the ones that threw out Odin from Asgard, and they're the ones that are behind the Ragnarok event. Well, Thor figures this out, but Hela actually crushes Mjolnir and destroys Mjolnir and banishes Thor just in outer space, and he lands on Sakaar, the place where Hulk fought gladiator battles in Planet Hulk, and is forced there to fight and just survive as he's figuring out how to get back to Asgard and how to get back to stop this impending doom. Not let's just forget the fact that Thor is going to be fighting without his hammer and is actually going to lay a beating on some people for once, which I'm excited to see. But at the end of the movie, he fights everybody. He cuts down everybody and kills everybody, and reveal the champion of Sakaar, the Incredible Hulk, where they go toe to toe, and I'm like, just when I thought Marvel couldn't do any better, they keep pulling surprise. Now, again, this is a possible plot. This is a rumor at this point, so not confirmed. But the inner kid inside me is like, please confirm this already. Go ahead.
I mean, I like the fact that they're gonna put Thor in there and stuff like that. But my speculation's always been where, he finds Banner, and he winds up saying, "Well, listen here, you're not safe here on Earth. No, everybody thinks that you're a danger to the human race. So I'm gonna take you into my domain, and I'm gonna protect you. I'm gonna put you on this planet so that way you can actually defend so that way you can protect us against other people, and I'll be back on Asgard, and I'll come and visit you from time to time. It's kind of like feeding somebody. I'll come and visit you once a month and feed you, but that's what I get out of that part. But I don't want to see Thor and the Hulk fight against each other because we already saw that in the first Avengers movie. And I feel like if they do that, it'll be too much repetitiveness with that because we already saw that once. So therefore, that's why I don't want to see that. But I just want to see these two characters where they both get along and they both trying to protect each other from whatever villains are going to come their way. Because he's bringing in the Hulk to protect him and everything because they're best friends because they work together in the Avengers. That's what
I've heard, and this is all hearsay at this point. That Thor I keep wanting to call it Thor the Dark World. That Thor Ragnarok is going to be the darkest MCU movie up to this point, and I'm like,
Well,
because I mean it has so many implications to the MCU going forward. Such a massive event like that, so it makes sense. It makes logical sense to do that in that way and go grand and go big, and do something really cool with this property. And again, like with X-Men, wipe away all the bad memories of Thor the Dark World and give us a good Thor movie again, because I thought the first one was good, but even better.
Right, exactly. And then we get into the Civil War with Captain America Civil War. And I love this trailer. There's nothing wrong with this trailer. The trailer was very well put together when I saw this on Jimmy Kimmel, to the point where I said, I don't need to see it anymore. Just show me a trailer with Spider-Man and I'll be happy. You don't have to show me any more with these characters because the built-up for it, the war between Captain America and Iron Man, and then Bucky getting in the mix of it, and you already know that Tony's already got all of Captain America's moves already programmed into his Iron Suit, so therefore all of his stuff is already programmed. Bucky's going to have a hard time trying to deal with Tony as far as that point goes. So that's why you see Captain America and Bucky probably teaming up to try and take him down.
As far as the marketing for Civil War goes, I think that here could be the good example of how to do your marketing for a hero-on-hero movie. Whereas Batman vs. Superman is kind of getting it right, kind of getting it wrong. Marvel could get it all right by not showing us anything else but the conflict between Avengers and just giving us clips of that, because we have not seen Spider-Man. I don't want to see Spider-Man. I really do not want to see Spider-Man until May 6th. I do not want to see Baron Zemo until May 6th. I really don't. I don't want to see I do want to see Crossbones because I know he's going to be in the movie, but I want to keep him in the shadows. And I think because these are the same people that made Winter Soldier, same writers, same directors, same everything.
Right.
I think that we're gonna get good marketing, like we got with Winter Soldier, and at least it's what I'm hoping for.
And that's what I'm open to as well. And you know, I'm fine if they just show not even maybe just Peter Parker, not even Spider-Man himself.
Right, that's what I mean. Yeah, if they show Peter Parker, I'm gonna be fine. If they show the Spider-Man suit, I'm gonna like it. But I'm like, no, just save
You
it.
took
Save
away
it.
some mystery to what we were wanting.
Huh?
It's like they took away some mystery to what we were wanting in the first place. We
Right.
wanted because I'd like to have that mystery element to it, to where they're not
Absolutely.
much.
Absolutely. And again, I think that that's something that Winter Soldier did absolutely perfectly. So I think that if they carry the tradition on into Civil War and do that, where it's not just not showing stuff, but misdirecting
Right.
the viewers, I think it could lead to a very good movie experience in the theater because you know nothing.
Right. Well, another thing too, I was just thinking about too was my anticipation level. I'm excited for it, but not excited as I am for Doctor Strange because, like I said, that's several different story arcs. This is
Right.
one story, and you know, pretty much what you see is what you get from the trailer. Another thing I've heard though from Collider Movie Talk was this: there was a thing in there from D23 or either Comic Con where they showed something,
It was
and
D23. They didn't go to Comic Con.
I think it was one or the other.
It was
They went.
D23.
They also went to Comic Con.
They did? I thought they
No,
didn't.
no, they went to Comic Con.
Oh, okay.
But they found this one trailer. In the trailer, it shows Black Widow and Hawkeye fighting against each other. And he's over there, they're hitting each other. He goes, "We're still good, right?"
Yeah.
"Yeah, we're still good." "So we're going to dinner afterwards." "Yeah, we're going to dinner afterwards." There's still some humor to it, but there's still some of that dark humor as
And I
well.
like that. I read that trailer breakdown. I read it. I haven't seen it, but I read it. And when I read that scene, I was like, I like it because of this. These are people that, yes, they're being forced to pick a side on this conflict, but that
Right,
doesn't mean that they're enemies.
right. But you know for a fact though, like after all this is over with, some people are gonna. There's gonna be several funerals. No, someone's gonna die, and
I think there's two funerals in the movie.
right. And another thing too is you don't know if these people are gonna become friends again or not. But they also have to unite each other, and somehow, some way, because of you have the Avengers coming in with the Infinity Gauntlet. So what I'm thinking is, I think while all that is going on, I think Thanos is going to come in. And during that time, they're going to have no choice but to patch things up with each other and say, you know what, this government thing or whatever, forget it. Let's just team up and take care of the main problem. And then whatever happens, happens. If we wind up forgiving each other, if we wind up being friends later on, that's fine too. But right now, our main focus right now is getting that guy who's in danger to our planet, who has better technology than what we do, and we need to go find a way to beat him.
I actually read somewhere, I don't remember where. I need to keep track of where I read things. Um, but I read that Spider-Man was actually going to continue the Civil War storyline, which I was like, if they don't resolve Civil War in Captain America 3, I'm going to be so happy because that will be the only time that Marvel has had the guts to give us a cliffhanger ending, a true cliffhanger ending. Because
True.
yes, I mean they did that with Thor 2 with Odin and not being on the throne and it being Loki. But that was just one detail of the movie. It wasn't like all of it. So I think if they do that and they continue the story into Civil War, but from Spider-Man's perspective, I think it's gonna be great. But
Well,
that's
I gathered too was with Spider-Man, it's going to be like a Ferris Bueller's Day Off kind of thing, where everybody knows he's Spider-Man, but it's also going to have flashback moments of what happened in Civil War. He's going to and stuff like that as well. But another thing too is like I want it to be where they have to patch things up, to where they have to get along again. You know, I
yeah.
don't. That's what I want.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, there's a lot of ways this can go down, and no, and with the Russo brothers, you never know. So I mean, there's a lot of potential for different ways that this whole thing is going to go, and I mean, I would love for Marvel to take a bold risk and just give us a cliffhanger ending. But who knows? I mean, who knows? They have been planning this out for 10 years, so who knows?
And I think it's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, all in all, and I think because it's funny how the last, I think, like 3 years have had, um, like ways that you could name the years by their films. Like I remember one year we got two Snow White movies, so that was the year of Snow White. One year we got two White House movies. This year seems to be the year of battling heroes, with Batman vs Superman coming from Warner Brothers, Civil War coming from Marvel and Disney, and also I just found out today they're making a Justice League versus Teen Titans movie. It's an animated movie,
Yeah.
which I'm like, it could be interesting with what they've been doing at the animated front. So I think this is going to be the year of battling heroes, and I think it's going to be a good year because you're going to get stuff like Gambit, which up in the air for that one. Deadpool, which I think is going to be just amazing. And then, the heavy hitters like Apocalypse, like Civil War, like Batman vs. Superman, and the newcomers like Doctor Strange and Suicide Squad, which we don't know how they're going to be interpreted. We know either very little or next to nothing. So it'll be kind of fun just to see how the year unfolds and see how these movies are going to be treated in marketing, and see how the companies are going to treat these movies in marketing. Hopefully they do a good job and they're more like Deadpool and Civil War than Amazing Spider-Man 2. But we'll see.
And that pretty much wraps up our most anticipated comic book movies of 2016. Another thing too is if you really like Roberto's toilet paper and his views on things, make sure you check out the movie
Yeah.
channel. He's got quite,
Especially if you like my toilet paper.
because he likes to sell Charmin to just about everybody. So who knows? You might get that
Charmin for you, Charmin for you. Everybody's charming.
So, if you like his channel, check it out. Make sure you like his channel and subscribe to his channel. And if you like,
And it's really easy to find. You know why? Because I named it really simply the Movie Channel.
and
I do an intro video there, so that'll probably be the first thing you see if you go on there. I've also done a review on Jurassic World, which is my top film of 2015. I wanted to go back now, almost being a year after my first impression, and just kind of revisit the property and go back and do what I call a second viewing review on the thing. It's more honest and not like, because I mean, with Jurassic Park, it's like Star Wars for whoever grew up on Star Wars. They're like drooling out of the side of their mouth in the theater. Just, So, but after a year, you kind of get a sense for, okay, I'm not gonna just say that the movie did no wrong, and Jurassic World was not perfect, but it was a fun movie, and I break it down there. So there's that, and there's a movie conversation that I've had in the past with my good friend, which is on this conversation with me, John DeGregorio of Movie Lovers. Check out his page as well, because this is his channel. And just share, like, and subscribe to both of our channels, and love us both equally.
right. And of course, don't forget to comment. Let us know what you think of everything, because like you said, it doesn't matter what we say. It matters what you guys think.
And give us ideas. Like we love to get ideas about videos. Like if you want us to do a top 10, like we just did, our top most anticipated, and we actually did it in some kind of order. So if you want to, if you want us to do top 10s, if you want us to do like discussions on different movies, if you want us to review a movie together, that would be something fun. I don't think we've done that before. But just give us ideas, and like I said, just stay tuned. I mean, we're gonna have a good year for movies. Not only superhero movies, but a ton of good movies are coming out this year. So it's gonna be a fun year, and I hope that you stick with us, and I hope that you grab your toilet paper, sit in your theater. If you need to occasionally get out of the theater and use the toilet paper, use the toilet paper, but always come back here after you've seen the movies and check us out. Here we have to say. And I'm done talking.
And like I said, this is John DeGorio from Movie Lovers Unite. Like, subscribe, and thank you again for joining us today. Have a good day.